son will never do that. My daughter will never do that. You just don't see it coming.
You just never see it as they're growing up, that they're going to take a path where substance use becomes part of their life.
When it takes hold, you just see that your little boy completely ripped from you. Recovery is possible.
Help is available 24/7 when you need it. We're the Ernes from Greece.
And it's in our family. Don't wait until it's too late.
Don't wait.
All I can say is amen. This is Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter here in Rochester, New York, on the podcast called Behind the Badge. And we always try and share stories of people that are working with us or great deputies that are doing their job extremely well behind the scene. And today, obviously, we're here to talk about awareness of addiction. There is hope. There's definitely extreme hope. We got so many cases of recovery that we can talk about and what a blessing that is. And also we got cases that never made it to recovery, maybe for one reason or another. And we lost great human beings. We lost great souls. We lost great sons, and we'll never forget them, no matter how they died. They're humans, they're sons, they're precious members of our community. And one of the things we want to talk about is the stigma of addiction. So we'll hit that too. So first of all, the guest that we have here today talking about the awareness of this pandemic that won't go away. We keep on fighting the fight, but also what we're doing about it behind the scenes and in the forefront of the scene. So Becky, welcome.
Hi, thanks.
Great to have you as a guest.
Thank you.
How about just a little bit about yourself real quick before we go into a few Q&A?
My name's Becky Baker, and we lost our son Scotty in 2016 to an overdose. He had been doing great for 5 months. He'd been clean and relapsed and died. So we decided to do something. We started grief support meeting for families, because where do you go? Right. Who do you talk to? The stigma surrounding it. Back in 2016, I think now maybe it's a little better, but back then. So we started grief support meeting, and we decided to have our first annual Scotty B Overdose Awareness Day. Yeah. And the reason behind that was to get families to come out and they could look for insurance, talk to treatment providers, learn about detox, get Narcan trained. Right. It was a great opportunity for folks to come out and learn about addiction.
And we're going to say stigma a lot today, right? And just to break that stigma that these are real human beings, yes. These are real families suffering, and it doesn't matter how, right?
No.
More importantly.
No.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
You've been very bold, and we'll bring you out a little bit more in this podcast about what you've been doing for the last 10 years.
Thank you.
With your trauma that you had to endure, but man, you've saved lives.
So have you.
You've saved lives. God bless you. And Lisa?
Lisa Erne, married to one of your fellow deputies here, Chief Erne. And I grew up here in Rochester, and we have a child that was affected, or is, affected, because I think it's a lifelong health issue, and we've learned to treat it as such, and that's made a lot of headways that way.
And you guys were bold enough to do that video we showed at the introduction. That's not easy to step forward in that, that forefront of this conversation. But we thought back then, 10 years ago? No, 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah,
it was important to get the message out that it's in a law enforcement family. It doesn't matter.
No.
This does not matter one bit. Doesn't matter economic status. Doesn't matter the part of the county you live in. It doesn't matter your race, your creed.
Yep.
It's zero. And Gary, thanks for joining us. How about a little bit about yourself?
Yeah.
Good to have you here.
Thank you. My name's Gary Harding. I grew up out in Genesee County in Pavilion. I've got celebrated 24 years in recovery this year.
God bless.
Yay.
And I do, thank you. And I do a lot of work out in the community with those battling substance use disorder, mental health issues, and homelessness.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
And Pavilion, I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Cow farm by any chance?
Shooting
from
the
hip.
Surrounded for sure. Yeah.
Statistically speaking, yes.
I've never milked a cow though.
No. I baled some hay, but there was like one day of doing it once a summer. I'm like, I'm good. I don't think I want to do this for a living. Tough work.
No. Yeah.
Tough work. Becky, we talked about Scotty B and your loss of your son. I didn't realize till I was preparing for this, the Awareness Day occurred that year.
Yeah.
He died in the spring, right?
I had a really pushy friend.
Yeah.
Kathy Miller, really.
Yeah. And we're going to do this fall while you're in recovery yourself of your loss and your grief and going through that whole process.
Tell you what,
stepped out.
It was a blessing, though.
Yeah?
It really was for me, because I knew I needed to do something. I knew I couldn't save my son, but possibly we could save someone else's child, a loved one. Yeah.
And the Awareness Day, what's it growing into? What?
It's big. This is
big.
10 years now, and we still have all the vendors that come out. This year, we're really going to focus on folks that are in recovery and people affected by addiction. It's going to be big again, but it's going to be different this year. We're going to do away with the politicians and just have some real folks talk their story, and maybe this will help others as well, you know.
And just like we're going to talk later in the recovery side, it's all different. So why not try something different? You know, get the politicians off the stage and have people that are being going through the process. And you see photographs and news stories. This has been covered pretty well, I think, by our local media. Your Awareness Day, and because it gives people hope, you know, and through this dark time. And again, it's a battle that we're fighting. You know, we started this. You know, I ran for sheriff. I was just getting into educating myself on it, and then COVID kicks in, and you know, our numbers were dropping. Yeah. You know, one's too many. We got that, right? But our numbers were dropping. I measured it weekly. I was measuring, and you know, man. And now it's just this, and now it's something unfortunately we don't even talk about. It seems like,
so
right?
sad.
Unless you do the Awareness Day or podcasts like this.
Yeah.
So we're never going to let that happen. Thus the podcast.
So many.
In honor of Scotty B. And it's just a beautiful event. Anybody gets a chance to come out. It's going to be on the 29th this year, August 29th. 28th. I read the wrong cue.
Yeah, 28th.
We'll put it up on the screen.
1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
awesome.
Set up
at 1 o'clock. If you want to set up a table, we are open to anybody coming out. And if you're in recovery and you're selling something to make a living, come on out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Call. Send us an email.
All the service providers out there, people out there, you know, like you said, making things. I usually go by and think, I don't need one, but I like that. I think I'll buy one. I never even thought about it.
It's fun. It's really a nice day to get together with the community and show support for everyone, like you said, everyone.
And I think the message is there, as you mentioned, is we want people of all walks of life, of everybody, whether it's a person that's going through this or an affected family member, a friend, anyone that just wants to come out, because again, we want to erase the stigma, and we want people to come and see all of the treatment centers and talk to different people and just the different options that we have in this community.
At least your experience, again, law enforcement family, you're a professional, right? All the, you know, everybody thinks this is an addiction for some college kid, right? That's gone off and made stupid mistakes in college. And, you know, when it enters a law enforcement family, and that's why we did the video, and I already said it, I'm going to say it again, bold. I mean, that took, you know, what to do that for you guys and your husband to stand there in uniform and say, you know, with his peer group, right? With all of us, because we have the stigma. And we're going to break the hell out of the stigma. This is in every demographic. This is in every family. And if it hasn't touched you yet, you're statistically speaking, it's right around the corner. You might as well be on the lookout for it.
And interestingly, I was just looking at it yesterday. If you go to the Monroe County website or you're tracking the stats, if you do look at the age of the overdoses, it's in the 30s. That's where you're going to find the largest group is in your 30s. So again, that everybody I think thinks it's the young adolescent trying, experimenting. But it hits all walks of life and all age groups, and like you said too, I mean, you know, it affects like 2 to 1 for males versus females, but in the scheme of things, the age wise, it's definitely more in the 30s, and then you can see obviously it's even 50 plus. You know, it's not necessarily the young youth. It's not.
No, we look at statistics, and unfortunately, we whitewash things with numbers sometimes and forget the names at the end of those dots or whatever. But 37 was the average age of death in Monroe County for several years. And just recently it popped up in the 40s, mid 40s, right? So those are things we need to analyze and track and make sure we're doing the right education and right interventions. And but that's people don't. 47. We have 80-year-olds passing away from addiction.
I remember touring Helio years ago, but I remember touring them, and they said their biggest shocker was how many 60-plus-year-olds they were coming in for treatment. So I guess, you know, glad they're coming for treatment. We don't want to say, you know, anything bad. It's a good thing. It's just that I think, like you said, the community sometimes think it's the young adolescent just being wild and carefree, and it's not. We have to realize it affects everybody. It affects moms. It affects dads. It affects lawyers, it affects police officers, it affects doctors, it affects
everybody.
You know, It's not just for the young.
And like I said, if it hasn't affected your family yet, be on the lookout. it's right around the corner.
I always say one in
Yeah.
4, but I believe
Yeah.
it's 1 in 3 families are affected somehow, some way.
Because a lot of it's underreported too.
Yeah.
I mean, the statistics are going to be
Right.
underreported. But and then Gary would talk about you and you're breaking the stigma. And let's talk about this. Let's be forefront with this. But also your mindset of everybody going through addiction is an individual, and there's a prescription written for them, and that prescription might be the wrong prescription for a few times. Probably a bad analogy I'm using, but the idea is that each one's an individual that needs and failure is part of this program too. That's what I found out. That failure is part of it. It's not a failure would throw you out.
Right,
We tried
right.
one. It's just the process that we have to go through and keep on pushing the process.
Find out what didn't work,
Yeah.
and try something different until you find out what does work,
Right.
and it's shame keeps people in the shadows, and I like how you guys were talking about your video was really nice. And I do a lot of that. Eventually into my recovery, I just, loud and proud. And, I saw a shift. And then again, as I continued to do more, get involved in more volunteer work over the last couple of years, like people would reach out from back home that maybe needed some help or knew somebody that needed some help and they just didn't know what to do. So that's a, really big reason about why I continue to be so open about it. I'm not ashamed by no means, and I'm almost proud in a way because it has made me the person that I am today. So, would I have made different choices? Most likely 100%, but, I'm just going to own it and, do good with it,
It's phenomenal, and you are a testimony to breaking the stigma, right?
Thanks.
I think Lisa alluded to it earlier. This monster never leaves you, right? It's always there. But look how successful you are. Look at you're a great example of what the other end can look like, right? And how people get motivated, but also productive member of society. I mean, this is just hopefully something that you can recover from, and also go on and raise a family or, get a great job. And it's not the end of the world if you keep on pushing.
No.
It's
Baby
tough.
steps,
Please, it's
too.
not easy. I'm not trying. I'm not even trying to say that, right? But,
No.
Right.
but the fact is, you can break that stigma.
There is hope.
Yeah, we're not throwing these people away by any means. First of all, they're human beings, right? They're souls. But also, there's so much potential, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We all have.
Anybody can do it.
Oh my! Anybody, and
There's a way.
who doesn't have something in their closet they need to talk about? Who hasn't made mistakes in their life? And showing a little grace
just
to
have
the
to
fellow human being is
spread
probably a
hope.
good thing too.
Hope is
that's
so
all.
important.
And that's what Scotty B does, right? You walk around, it's all positive.
Yes.
It's literally you walk around, you're happy to be there, you're happy to talk to people and and find out their stories. And I got to admit that when I'm walking through the pounding of the crosses, and
I know
it just it's not a happy
It hits
moment, but
you.
it's a reality check
It
that
is. And we don't
we're
put
never
up as many as we could.
Well, right,
you know?
right.
No,
but we're not.
could do a lot more.
I think the point we do the heat maps, we do the data collection, and sooner or later, in particular politicians, I'll get on my soapbox. That's a dot, right? And if we have less dots, better. If we have more dots, bad, right? And no, that's a human being. That's someone's son. That's someo's daughter. That's someone's dad.
Look at that.
Right. That's a
Think
real
about
person.
that.
So although I don't enjoy when you're pounding those in, it's a reality check we need.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so.
That's awesome.
I think they need it too.
Yeah.
Our
So you started
politicians.
this awareness day. How did it start as far as what's it morphed into? That's kind of where I'm going. So I'm sure it started let's wing
started
something. Let's get this right. Yeah, let's
It
wing
really
something.
did.
And now it's turned into this well-organized.
It really started out big and it stayed pretty big. I don't think the focus was where I wanted it to be. I really wanted to see families come out and get the answers they were looking for. And a lot of times that wasn't happening.
Gotcha.
A lot of grieving families come out, and God bless them. I want them there as well. But there's so much to offer at Overdose Awareness Day. So if you know somebody or you're struggling yourself, come on out.
Right.
We'll have the answers. We've taken people to inpatient treatment and detox
Right from there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anybody that's struggling, anybody that's hurting, anyone that's lost someone, and anybody that's a proud, recovering person, come on out and celebrate. You know?
That's awesome.
It's a good day.
Yeah.
And how did you two marry up? How did you guys?
Erne. That's a family group.
Yeah.
When Scotty, we found out our kids were using, there was nothing. We were going to tough love meetings, and then somebody started an Erne group. And God bless him, because there was somebody in recovery that would come to that meeting. Paul H., I love you. He would come, and I didn't understand. I was doing everything wrong. Paul would call the dealers, and Scotty would say, "Are you trying to get me killed, Dad? Because that's what's going to happen."
Right.
But this Paul G. is what is he? And he helped me so much just to understand what it was like. He had been struggling for years and years. He was 50-something years old, you know. So, Nar-Anon was good for us. I always say it saved my life, it saved my marriage, and it saved my kids' lives, because I really, it was big.
Well, there's no playbook for it, right? Especially back in that day. I mean, at least the stigma is pushing forward to getting it off, you know, this negative thing that it's someone else or that's other people's problems.
Right.
But yeah, where's the playbook for this thing?
There's not.
For me, and again, you're going back some years, but for me, it was, I didn't know anybody else in this position. So you feel so alone. And again, you know, so not only is your child isolated, but you're becoming isolated too, because you have nobody to share this with.
Right.
So that's one thing, like with Scotty B, Overdose Awareness Day, is to get people out and like, okay, there are other people going through this, and, you know, it's okay. You know, we can do this.
I can imagine the reflection, especially as a mom. Dads and moms are a little different sometimes. You know, the mom is, I can imagine, you know, the guilt or the, you know, what did I do wrong, or how could I have done this, right? You would do anything to protect your child, anything. You give your own life for your child, right? So, you know, to be around other people has got to be very powerful.
It is. It is. And it is important to share. You get through it, you know, with the help of your friends, you get through it. And that's the beautiful part about having friends like Lisa. Sorry, guys.
You're very violent sometimes.
No. I told you I wanted to beat up my kid. What the heck? You know what? Recovery's beautiful. Yeah. I've met so many. I've watched so many walk the path over the 10 years that we've been doing this. Gary's taken me out, and I met a guy. Gary and I were out just handing out waters and snacks, and I met a guy, and he said, "Are you Eric Baker's mom?" I just got out of Mid-State. I was in there with him. He wasn't out a week, and he's already out.
Oh, geez.
You know, but there's still hope.
Yeah.
And I gave him a card, and I said, "Call me
when you're ready.
Look out for Gary."
Let's do this.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just got to push the hope and stick stigma where it belongs.
We also got to push bed to bed,
you
know, especially leaving state prison. Leaving state prison is difficult enough. I mean, that transition. I'm a cop. Do your crime. Do your time. I got absolutely no problem, right? Do it all. I can get rid of parole tomorrow. You know, you got sentenced by a judge to do 3 years. Do 3 years. But the fact is, you're coming back to our community, right? And we release them $75 in a bus ticket. Best of luck. We'll see you later.
It's so sad.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you leave. Nowadays, life moves so fast, and you know, we're setting them up for failure when they come back like that, as opposed to where are you transitioning to? Where are you going to lay your head? Who's your support systems, right? And
there's some great programs too. Nielsen House and Jennifer House, they've been a part of Overdose Day for 10 years now, you know, and it's awesome. Yeah. They really embrace these folks. They do.
So Gary, what can we do better? What should we be doing that we're not doing? Whether it's government, nonprofits, the community itself. I mean, if you had a magic wand, you know, I know you're not going to solve this problem.
Right.
If you had a magic wand, what would you like tomorrow? What would we?
Well, you probably hear often how in the city how we work in silos, like nonprofits and organizations. And you know, I think that's definitely rings true.
Right.
I do believe, you know, it's going to take a true group effort. It may not be easy, it may not be fast, but I think that's the only way it's going to happen. You know, and I'm a advocate for overdose prevention centers. I know right now that would be illegal here. I visited the one in New York City on Point, and they're amazing. They have two. It's an amazing place that all of the services come together. So, you know, it's not, I think some people view it as like a safe injection site or where people go use drugs. And I mean, that's just one piece of like 40 things that happen there. There's mental health, there's treatment options, there's counselors, there's housing. I mean, you name it, and it's under that one roof. And it's not all done by just that one agency. Like they bring in, you know, the people who are experts in that field, and they all work together, and it's like a holistic solution, you know. And like we said, like you know, some things don't just work once. Or it doesn't work at all, and try something else, and just not giving up. No shame, no judgment, you know?
I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I'm a very conservative person. I'm a cop, right? And then when I first hear that, you know, my instinct is like, because it's new, right? First of all, that's what I do, my personality. And, you know, but I just heard someone speak the other day, a council member talking about, you know, Clinton Avenue in the city of Rochester, which is the epic center, right, at ground zero. And, you know, by feeding people down there or providing them, you know, needles down there and all that, there's people living there. Why are you feeding this? And so even as you talk about that, Gary, I was like, there's another conversation that can help convince me on this whole, and I would love to go visit one just because I'm shooting from the hip when I say I don't like them, right? That's stereotypical.
Get it.
But, you know, let's go visit one. But I'm sure the people in that community would much rather have them in someplace healthier, so at least not walking up and down the street with backpacks on and someone throws them a sandwich once in a while, like, you know, like we're doing them a favor. We got to sustain them. We got to keep them alive, but maybe there's a better way, right? So, you know, I was smiling at it when you were talking, like, you're breaking my mindset already. At least I should be bold enough to explore a little further because as we keep on saying, each person's an individual that may do something. But great.
And they do. They reduce crime. They reduce drug litter, open drug use. It helps the entire community.
Yeah, and that community is very frustrated right now. They're very.
I get it.
Why you keep
I
on?
understand.
You know, let's do something different because we've been doing that for a while, right?
Yeah.
That's been going on forever.
Yeah.
North Clinton.
Yeah, unfortunately. And people got to live there, right? They can raise their kids. They want to walk to the store. And,
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. So you want to talk about your husband, my chief, or anything like that? Well, you got the open mic here. I thought I'd like this.
Any secrets?
Any secrets?
I'm
Haircuts without a flat top. You know, he's just walking around all strack. I know he had a mullet in high school or something, right?
They had a lot curlier.
Yeah, they were a lot curlier. We all had a lot more hair back in the day. That's the curse of being a male, I think.
I kind of laughed because I think he said to me one time that he had short haircuts when he was young and, you know, didn't like them because just, you know, when you're a kid, you don't want
good
that
hair
short.
then. Yeah, good hair.
Then he grows up and gets the short haircut.
Right. It's a lot easier too. Just wake up in the morning and throw some water on it and out your door. Not a lot of thought. You ladies got to spend all that time. Like, I don't have the patience.
Yeah, I think though, just for a second though, him and I have learned a lot going through this. It's not something that I would wish on anybody, but I am thankful really for what I've learned. I think I've become a more compassionate person that way than I, you know, but again, I think for any struggling family is just to reach out for help yourself because you have to get, you know, assistance and how to work through this. But at the end of the day, there's so many people out there and they're willing to help you and talk. And as much as help as there is for a person going through it, there's also help for people who are an affected family member.
Yeah, and breaking the stigma. Let's just put that on the table one more time, and I'll use another. And I was unfortunately a good friend of ours, a family member of my wife's, was just diagnosed with cancer, lung cancer, right? And still smoking, but weaning off the smoking, right? Down to 2 or 3, and the family can't comprehend that. How come she's got lung cancer? How can she be? I go, you don't understand addiction.
No.
You don't, whether it's a narcotic or it's a nicotine or it's an addiction. You don't try and comprehend it, you know, that you have, that's wrong. It's an addiction. That's why it's called an addiction.
And people don't understand addiction.
Yeah.
They really don't get. And I was one of those people for a long time.
Yeah, you think there's a black and white answer. Just if I hit them hard enough over the head, they'll stop doing that.
And the stigma just keeps on.
You got moms that'll leave their kids alone, right? Go down the street only because they don't think they're going to breathe another breath if they don't get a fix.
Right.
That's in their mind. I can't take care of my kids if I can't breathe. I can't breathe without this. So, and when you process that out, common sense says no, but it's like oxygen. I need it so bad at that moment. And when you put in that analogy, you can understand, right? Let's get her off a full pack a day and get her into 2 or 3. And actually the docs are like, thank you for taking a step in the right direction.
Harm reduction.
I was going to say,
right.
a form of harm
reduction, right. Yeah, great.
And nobody's unique either, you know, like I think that keeps people away from asking for help too. I know, you know, there was times where I thought like, nobody's going through this, nobody's done these things or whatever. And that's never the case. Like, you know, I mean, I could tell you a whole laundry list of things that would probably shock most people. And the things that I haven't done, like I know people that have, you know, in my support network collectively, like we've done it all. And, you know, there are people out there who won't shame, who won't judge, and who will understand.
Gotcha.
And love you right where you are.
Love you right where you are.
Erne used to kind of say,
right
kick your kid out or whatever. And I'd go to these meetings. I'd say, you know what? love your kid where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
You have to love them right where they're at, because if we don't love them, who
Right.
will love them?
Right, and you're going through hell as a mom but also, sometimes there's stealing of property, or there's bad behaviors that disrupt the family or whatever. It comes with it, right? But
Right. They
no
don't
one- no
love
one says-
themselves.
No one
going
says it's
through
going to
that.
be easy, right?
No.
But this is your kid,
No.
right? If you fell and broke a leg, you would.
Right.
There's no way you would leave him stranded on the side of the road.
I try to just reach out. I love.
Yeah. It's not easy either.
No,
Yeah,
no.
but-
I think-
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think too, people think because it's your brain that you can just tell yourself, like if you have diabetes, you can say, okay, well, it's your body and you take this medication and you follow it. But when it affects your brain, I think people think, well, you just tell yourself, well, you're not going to do that. And it doesn't work. It works the same as any other part of your body. It's not going to necessarily respond to treatment the way you want somebody to respond to treatment.
And
But-
Gary,
yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I'll cut you
Sure.
off. I don't think I got the power of the mic, so I'll cut you off. My podcast.
Do what you want.
throw in the whole mental health part of this part, right? And then you throw those two together, talk about a freaking recipe for disaster, right? Addiction and mental health, which, I mean, just how prevalent is that those two are combining together?
I mean, I would say, I'd take a gamble and say probably 100%. Like, regardless of whether there was, I think substance abuse disorder is going to create mental health issues,
Gotcha. Yep.
right?
Yep.
Whether there was any prior to or not. But then, I had never had any sort of recognizable mental health issues prior to using. But looking back, I can see, and I had some issues, maybe nothing I needed medication for or some serious treatment or whatnot, but some there. I think it goes hand in hand a lot. And we were talking about it earlier. My big thing when I was using was I just literally didn't want to be present. I didn't want to deal with life. And I was young, my life was great. I mean, I was living at home with my parents. There was nothing wrong with my life, but it was just too much for me, just real life. So any chance I could to escape, that's what I was doing. And I think for me, it definitely led back to mental health. And I'm a big advocate for mental health treatment as well. I've sought treatment a couple times within my recovery. And then again, most recently at the beginning of COVID, started again and completely changed my life again, in recovery.
Wow. So the Awareness Day is coming up the 28th. The 28th. We'll make sure the right B-roll is up on the screen.
Martin Luther King Jr. Park.
At
Come
the
out,
park. Come
families.
out.
Come out.
Yeah,
Loved ones.
it's a fun time. It's for a great cause, obviously, and break the stigma. I think I've said that term how many times, but
Yes.
But come out and just wander around. And if you got you build things, you make things, you want to sell them. It's a great opportunity to get your product out there.
Show up with a table. We'll put you somewhere.
Make it like a flea market also over
Why
here.
not?
But
Why not?
and I think I just want to advertise. You said no politician speaking, so it might
No,
come on
it's
out.
time. It's time this
No
year.
offense, but
no offense is
get
right.
people in
but
recovery. Let's
yeah.
hear some stories that people
Yeah.
really lived a life.
People struggling too. They
Yeah.
need to share their story.
Amen.
You know.
All stages of recovery.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Yeah,
thank you for
thank you
sharing a
very
bit
much.
of your life and your history and your story. And God bless your son. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
How he's progressing.
Thank you.
And you're an animal. I'm looking at you in case
She
people
is.
can't see you. I'm looking at you. You're an
An
animal.
A
You're an
cat
animal.
that needs a
Oh,
nap. That's that's the cat. Yeah.
Tiny, mighty.
Don't ever stop. Don't ever stop. Don't ever stop. You're a blessing to me.
You are a
And
blessing to me.
Gary, just
Very too.
God bless what you're doing in your
Thank you.
recovery. And
Thank you.
and you're all saving lives. I mean, that's our mission. Let's
And
save
it's
some
not,
lives. and-
you say I'm an animal, but these guys,
I know.
mean, the support
Yeah.
that we get
Yeah.
from folks. Oh my God. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
and
you.
thank you.
Well, folks, we just wanted to share a little bit about the Awareness Day, and also recovery is an option. It's a hope. It's a got to go get it. And there's a lot of people willing to help. There's so many people willing to help, and it's not an easy ride by any means. But call. We're here to help. Anyone at this table is here to help, and we got your back as much as we can. God bless you all. Thanks for what you do, and thanks for being
Thank you.
passionate about this. Absolutely.
Click it or ticket. Come on.